All right, let's call this meeting to order. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call, Tom Bays.
Yes.
Alan Donaldson.
Here.
Andrew Clemens is absent. Cindy Clemens.
Here.
Candy Wick.
Here.
All right. We're here to talk about the tax levy, correct?
Yes, and the
Okay.
lady at the newspaper is being really nice, and I hoped you'd just send it to her tonight.
Oh.
Because she's leaving a space for us just until morning.
Oh, okay.
Because technically, we should have had it in by noon. But
Yeah,
I thought, what the heck, I'll just ask her if it's
Yeah.
possible, so.
okay. Well, sorry, I mean, it wasn't gonna work the other
No,
night, so.
no, I'm not saying,
Yeah,
oh, no, I'm not
Oh.
saying, because I'm
okay.
just breathing.
Okay, yeah, I know, believe me, I know. We've got some pretty rough patients, you guys. I think this is the worst I've seen. Yeah, so,
Well, don't get it, that's
No.
all I can say.
yeah.
Um,
We got one that got it twice. He's on
Well,
the
see,
second
that's
round.
what I'm afraid of.
Okay, anyway,
Okay, so I gave you, last year, if you remember, we increased it, that's what's on this, all it says, notice of public hearing for the max levy. So, we always do 8.1%, we do the max for the general, so we can't raise that at all. Last year for, I don't know, liability, whatever insurance.
liability, property and self
Yeah,
insurance cost.
Yes, we raised it to 12.5. Emergency, did we raise it?
Yeah, by like $11.
$11. Well, probably doing the, and then,
FICA diapers, we didn't.
Yeah. no, we
It
left
stayed
it
the
the
same.
same. And so, if you look here, on this one, these are special revenue, which is what the max levy is, other than the 8.1 is talking about. So, employee benefit, last year, we're short $14.45. And the emergency fund was okay.
Take your time.
And, so now, like for that, the bottom one is through January so far. And, we're up by $330.78. Now, the big difference is that is, the library's paying for their own, FICA and,
Diapers.
whatever the city has to provide. They're providing that out of their budget. So I kind of think it's up to you, but the employee benefit seems solid. I mean, you don't
What
tax,
is
so
that
you.
exactly? Is that the wages and stuff?
Well, it's not the wages, but it's Medicare, Social
Okay.
Security,
Yeah.
IPERS, the city's share of all of those. So like,
Gotcha.
Social Security, each one pays 6 point, I don't know,
Gotcha.
12.5, I don't know, so, but, and the IPERS, we can contribute 9.44. And then there's Medicare, that we match whatever the employees pay, we pay. So that comes out of that fund, but that fund right now is pretty good. It's also short because, we didn't have the pool employees this past year. So down here, we haven't got our second, mostly in March, that'll be our next big payment.
Oh, for
And
the tax,
For the
the
taxes,
special,
yeah,
yeah.
where our next big share of that levy will come from. So we're not looking bad for employee benefits. The emergency fund can only go up so much. And I had it and I didn't print it. I can't get the stupid thing to print. But it has a certain percentage. I will see if I can.
How come it says a minus there? Are we in the hole?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, because of the trees. Okay, dumb question.
And it's been suggested that we put that emergency fund, another line item for the storm.
Yeah, for this.
Yeah, we had another for
Yeah.
storm damage.
Yeah, and keep it so it's completely separate
Yeah,
from
from-
emergency
From
fund.
the rest
so-
of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's something that we need to do if it's not already been done.
So you can read it. I was gonna do this till the whole sewer thing, and then Jiminy. I went home and late. So I mean, for what we can levy for, we only have those 3 items. We've already maxed out the general levy. And that's been maxed out, I mean, that's been for years, since I've been here, and I'm sure for years before. I don't think anybody.
Is that a given?
You take what you can get, you know? Well, and our tax base isn't, you know, huge.
No, it's going down too, I think, isn't it?
Well, not this year, maybe next. Well, we're kind of a year behind. Because this will be based, I think, on the 2019 taxes. Now, this last year, we had 10,157 to as our tax levy. So that's slightly up from last year.
Yeah, we got 1,000.
Yeah, so it's up like, what, $600 or something maybe.
Mhm.
So if we stay at the 8.1, that's what it would, or that's our valuation, the 8775 is 8.1%.
Oh, okay.
The 1250, the liability stuff, you can do the cost, but I think we're good with that amount. I don't, you know, if you put it in that fund, that's all we can use it for, and the fund looks fine. Emergency, if we do the max levy on that, it's 2,900. So I raised that from last year's.
2742 to 2030.
Oh, yeah. So, and I didn't change the FICA and IFRS, it seems to be fine. Last year, last year we were down to 1445, but it should look better this year because the library's paying their share. So when we get our next 6 months, I truly believe that, but you could raise it if you wanted to. So the one you can raise is the self-insurance liability cost. Emergency is at the max.
Wait a minute, which one? Self-insured?
This liability insurance.
Oh, okay.
Any liability insurance, property insurance, whatever
Oh, okay.
insurance costs we incur. And you could put up a little bit, but you know, but you can try, but it remains in that fund. I mean, that levy. So over, you know, putting it up too high, it's in a fund, and if you don't spend it, then, you know, you're.
Can't get it.
Well, I mean, it just stays there, but, yeah, I mean, you have to answer to your residents why you're taxing more than we might need. So, that's the,
I'll send it down.
okay. Well, I mean, does this make sense, what
Yes,
I've
yes.
kind of given you?
Yes.
I tried to make it kind of just as straightforward
Yeah, yes,
as
it
I
does.
could. Not a lot of, you know, wiggle room.
So this is with 2%. Is that what that
Which one?
represents?
Oh, well, I don't know the change, I can't get it to work until I actually put the figures in and say this is what we're doing to make it for. But what I kind of looked at is like 2.2 or 2.3, which means you would still have to have a super majority, but, you know,
I guess,
if you guys think, if you're all good with saying that these figures are good for you, then you just have to make sure there's 4 people here to vote yes at the hearing, before the February meeting.
because we don't know what percent that change is from 82, say 82,274 to 87,075.
2.2, she thought.
two, is that,
Well, no, if you add it all, add them all up.
and then,
Yeah,
that's
those,
the
those,
percent.
yeah, those 4 things that we can levy for. But it won't work for me just to,
So.
I have to put it in, yeah. So, but I figured for the emergency, I just did kind of the max levy. So this insurance is, you just decide, what do you want? Right now, it's at $1.16
Well, the
per
insurance
100,000.
is self-supporting, right?
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, the insurance is okay, right?
Yeah,
So we just leave that one.
yeah, there's just no,
I see
And,
the insurance going.
the emergency,
You
can
do?
be 20,
I think everybody's.
2.7%. And what I put in there with that 29 is 26977. So it's like hardly under the max. And bike and Ipers, it's not at the max, but then I really didn't change it because I didn't think we needed to. So that's what I think, for what it's worth.
I mean, I see everybody's insurance costs going up though in the next year. I
Yeah,
think you
yeah.
got fault. I don't think you.
Well, we
can
will
trust.
pay, yeah, our insurance will be due again in May, and that's kind of the bugaboo too. But for this year, we didn't, it counts by number of employees also. And since we didn't have the pool, so, I mean, all those things are, yeah, you could raise the insurance. We put in 3,000 and tell you what it says. So, okay, let's see. Oh, okay, yeah, self-insurance is anything you want it to be, it's not restricted. Your emergency is, and your bike and Ipers, but that seems to be, maybe if you wanted to raise it a bit, I don't know. They did not change Ipers for this coming year, for the fiscal year, it stayed the same, the contribution rates. If they decide to change it next year, I mean, you can't predict that really. But yes, we can certainly put the insurance cost up and then, just like every year, just review it,
Yeah.
If you've got, seem to be getting a lot built up, then you might look at that harder next year, but yeah, the way things are going.
I see.
And, and we are gonna add that property to our insurance. So, yeah.
I'd raise it by the max.
Well, that one is just what you want. So how much you think if you go up a 500, that goes to 13,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, that one you can just decide. But then
I'd
you
raise
just have
that
to
one.
know,
I'd raise that one by $1,000.
Okay.
Of course, per year, that's,
yeah, that's not that.
I can see
Okay.
it going up.
Alrighty, so that works. The rest of them, our percentage, emergency you can't change. I'm not quite sure what the bike and I's percentage was, but so far, let's see, employee benefits, where we're up by just $300, but we'll get a larger, we don't wanna go in the hole.
It's not gonna hurt to have a little cushion there if you up that just a
Two.
little bit.
Okay, let me see how far we can go. So we're gonna do this at 13.5. So if you raise the FICA and IFRS, that's still not at your max levy, so. At 7,500. But, I mean, you don't, there's no reason to go over, you know.
And emergencies at the max already, or we can bump that too?
No, at 2,900, your emergency is maxed.
Okay.
FICA, even if you went to 8,000, it's not at the max. That's up by 1,000. And I
Do we
picked
need
the-
that though? What did you say we needed that for?
Well, I'm just thinking you're gonna wanna have some sort of cushion in the
The
employee
FICA,
benefits.
And we only have 330 now.
Is that comes from IPERS?
Correct.
we
The only thing
pay,
I'm thinking is if Colleen, if we had to have Colleen trains me, all of a sudden you got two people sitting in here training, now all of a sudden you've doubled,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you know, and you can eat that in a heartbeat. I mean, you go up $1,000 there in the course of years.
yeah, that much. Well, the library's employees, they're like,
They take care of their,
they're
And the
taking care of
pool
it this
should-
year, and it's around $500 a month. So, $500 a month is $6,000 a year, but then we, between John and I, but if you throw in the pool again, you know,
If the pool doesn't get thrown in again, is there a savings there that would make up?
yeah, if you don't run the pool, then you get a saving, you get a little bit of saving.
Yeah.
yeah, not
But it
much
needs to come
because
out
they
there.
don't have
Yeah.
IFRS, they
Yeah.
just have the Social
Oh,
Security and
okay,
Medicare,
okay.
yeah, but just the library employees and John and I get IFRS.
But it's the same money, the IPERS and the other employee benefits is the same fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the employer's share of, you know, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and your IFRS contribution. And that's just a given, you can't, you know, the state tells you what that amount is.
So you wanna put that to 8,000 then?
I think you gotta give yourself a little bit of cushion.
And then self-insurance costs to 13.5,
So,
okay?
in regular general, you've already maxed out.
Yeah, max, the 8.1 max remains the same.
Oh, it's the same, 87, almost 75?
Well, yeah, last year it was slightly,
82,
yeah,
82.
yeah.
45.
Yeah, but our rate, our percentage is the same.
Mhm.
So, I mean, this isn't going to put you way above 2%, I don't think. It might not even do it, but I can't tell till I actually put the figures in. But if you guys feel good about this, then when you vote, if it is more than 2%, all four of you have to vote yes. So,
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it.
Cindy, are you good, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I suppose, why don't we have a motion to,
Make a motion to raise the self-insured property tax 13.5, FICA up by 1,000 to 8,000. 21-22 fiscal year budget.
I'll second that.
okay,
Roll call, Tom Bass?
Yes.
Alan Dawson?
Yes.
Andrew Clemmons is absent. Cindy Clemmons?
Yes.
Candy Wade?
now maybe sick next time.
Sorry, we'll come and get you if you're sick, we're gonna haul you in here anyway,
Yeah.
and you gotta vote.
Well, you can push it with the phone and with the COVID, I mean, that's all set up. So, if it's not open and COVID goes crazy, we still have that phone set up in
Fine, yeah,
order to.
yeah.
And I always put it on the meeting agenda for the regular meetings and.
And we're not meeting again till our regular meeting
No.
in February,
And
right?
if this gets in, if I get this to the paper tonight, we can do it right before, like 6:15 on February, I don't know what it is, 9th or something. And we don't usually have a lot of feedback, so. So,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we gotta walk down the stairs?
If you want to.